I had a client who was a lawyer and was in court defending, and she said that every time she got a hot flash and she was sweating, people thought that she was not doing her job right and that she was nervous. And when women do get nervous, they get more hot flashes and cold flashes, and it is a change that requires major attention, and we have to think about it and find a way to address it. And then if we get the hot flashes at night, it's called night sweats. And many women wake up in the middle of the night, drenched, they're wet, and they have to change the nightgown, they have to change the sheets sometimes, and it does interfere with married life, with the husband sleeping next to them. And sometimes, because of the changes, they would have to get a separate bed and sleep in a separate bed, which actually, I will go here, will cause, without the hormones, without estrogen and progesterone, and with all the problems that are following menopause, women lose sexual desire. And this is a very common symptom for menopause. And it usually affects the husband, and it usually affects the married life. And the sex drive is gone because there's no estrogen, there is no desire, and when there's no desire, there's no activity. And of course, with lack of the hormones, there's vaginal dryness, which is again a major issue, and it's a very difficult subject to talk about for women. Women don't even tell their physicians when they go for a checkup that they have vaginal dryness, and it's very difficult to even do an examination with vaginal dryness because the vagina is practically getting deformed, and we get to vaginal atrophy, which is the blockage of the vagina because of lack of hormones. And women cannot have sex and cannot even be examined by their doctors, and there's a total blockage of the vagina. And then the dryness goes everywhere in the body. We get dry eyes, and that is again a very common symptom with aging, and especially for menopausal women. They experience dry eyes, and they would have to use either artificial tears or the cyclosporine that would reduce the immune response to maintain the eyes to be functional, and dry eyes would lead to blindness if it's not addressed properly. And this dryness continues all over the body, and we see that the skin gets totally dried and wrinkled. And of course, we all know that when we age, and as we age, we get wrinkled, but we didn't know specifically that this was a result of lack of estrogen and progesterone and the hormonal activities. And if we maintain a proper hormonal activity, we can reduce, postpone, and sometimes reverse the wrinkling of the skin and maintain a very young, healthy, and moisturized skin with just using the proper nutritional products. We can, of course, use creams and different lotions for the face and the body to maintain the moisture from outside, but having the body work inside out would help a lot with preventing the symptoms and signs of aging skin. And of course, the sagging skin that happens. And then another major issue with menopause is weight gain. And you can see that menopausal women lose their girlish figure, they lose the waistline, and the belly gets bigger. And this happens in men with losing their testosterone and androgens, and they develop a bigger belly as they get older with fat accumulation. We can exercise a lot, and I know exercise works perfectly. Yoga is great, Pilates is great, and I practice all of that. I go bike riding, I go hiking, but losing weight is a very difficult subject to talk about when you don't have hormones. When you are menopause, it makes it extremely difficult to lose the extra weight, both for men and for women. And then we get water retention. We get bloated and we get water retention. And that is again something that many women, thousands of women that I've been working with have complained about water retention. And usually when they wake up in the morning, overnight they have retained the water. By evening they weigh a lot less because they lose the water. But when they sleep at night and wake up in the morning, they've got the bags under their eyes with a lot of puffiness and water retention in the body. And then the irritability and anger. And I'm sure a lot of husbands and children can remember when their wives or their mothers went to menopause because they become very irritable and they become very angry. And usually when something very simple happens, they show a very strong reaction. They snap at a very little thing that would not make them angry before menopause. And of course we have loss of memory, which is another very important subject, and we can see women at a younger age, because if we say that average life of menopause is 51, we are still working. We are active women. We want to work, we want to talk, we want to do our profession right. And if we don't remember things, it's very embarrassing and very difficult to function. And we need to have a very sharp memory at any age, but especially after menopause, considering that average life expectancy is around 78 years now, or maybe 80 for women. And we need to be functional. We need to be able to work, and we need to have our brain working and our memory. As part of the mood swings is depression. And many women talk about they're okay, they don't have a problem, they're not even angry, but then suddenly they start crying. And I've experienced this myself. Everything is okay, and then suddenly you feel so depressed and you want to just sit and cry. And we have Maggie. If you go to the website, you can see Maggie expressing these feelings and talking about why she would feel so sad suddenly that she would just want to sit down and cry for 15 minutes and then forget it, and then we're happy again and we can continue with whatever we were doing before crying. Many women would have trouble sleeping. I know that these are problems that younger people may have also, but when talking to menopausal women, we have put this together because it's a major problem. I've talked to women who cannot sleep for even 1 hour at night. And then the entire day, the next day, they are tired, they are sleepy, they don't have energy, they don't feel good, they want to cry, they are moody, they fight with their children, they fight with their husbands, and that is all because they could not have a proper night of sleeping. And all of this would bring anxiety. Anxiety for getting older, knowing that something is happening in the body that we don't know what it is. What happened to me? I used to be normal functioning, and now I sweat, I stink, I cry. I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm fighting with people, and I don't know what I'm going through, and that generates a lot of anxiety, and also the mood swings, because we know that estrogen increases serotonin and increases dopamine, and many people have talked in the lectures about the effects of serotonin and dopamine, and we do have products that would increase the serotonin and dopamine naturally just by using functional ingredients and herbal ingredients that I'm sure you're very familiar with. We use the plant Griffonia simplicifolia for 5-HTP, 5-hydroxytryptophan, that changes into serotonin and dopamine and noradrenaline and reduces anxiety and depression. Another problem is the difficulty concentrating, a foggy brain. And you know the subject, you know what you're thinking about, but you cannot concentrate. You cannot, it's not just a memory problem. You want to concentrate and your brain is not working with you. Your brain is not helping you. Your body is functioning, but the brain is not cooperating, and it would not help you to concentrate on the subject. And we talked a little bit about anxiety, and depression can stay with a woman. If we say, for example, a 51-year-old woman goes through menopause, and remember that it's not just for 6 months or 1 year, it is the rest of our lives. So if we want to live to be 80 or 90 years old, we don't want to live half of our life being depressed and staying home and not going out to public and not socializing. Many women have also complained about continuous headaches that could be related to migraine headaches and lack of nutrients and lack of proper neurotransmitters in the brain, and we can address that and correct it very easily. Another one of the symptoms of menopause is pain all over the body. When we are younger and when we have estrogen and progesterone, and we know that they are both steroid hormones, they do have an anti-inflammatory and anti-pain effect. So when the estrogen and progesterone is removed from the body, the pain comes, and pain is a good thing. Pain, just like the previous speaker was talking about, pain is a very good indication that something is not working properly in the body. And we know that inflammation is one of the reasons that we age. I'm sure you're all experts in aging and anti-aging. We age because of oxidation. We get oxidized, just like we cut an apple and put it out and it gets brown with oxidation. We all go through oxidation with free radicals in our body. We go through inflammation as we age, and especially for women, because estrogen is a steroid hormone and has anti-inflammatory effect. When the estrogen is no longer in the body, the inflammation increases and the cytokine increases, and pain is created by NF-kappa B, nuclear factor kappa B, which causes a lot of pain, and we can reduce the inflammation and reduce the pain in the body with replacing the estrogen with isoflavones and natural estrogens.